Switzerland has been one of my favorite European destinations for a few years now. It is probably the best strategy for a 4-day trip in Switzerland for the most satisfying and wholesome experience to rent a car. If you are planning a trip to Switzerland for 4 days, a car is probably the best approach for the most enjoyable travel experience. I believe that renting a car is the most efficient way to get around Switzerland, especially for a trip of 4 days. In order to have a full and complete experience in Switzerland, it is probably best to take a car for a 4-day trip for the best experience. A car would probably be the best way to go on a tour of Switzerland over 4 days in order to have the most fulfilling experience. The best option for a wholesome trip around Switzerland is most likely to be renting a car for 4 days. It goes without saying that a car is probably the best option for the most wholesome trip when you are spending 4 days in Switzerland. Having a car is probably the best approach for a 4-day trip in Switzerland, as it is likely to be the most comfortable and enjoyable. Switzerland is home to one of the best connected public transport systems in Europe. Trains, buses and gondolas are all completely and totally connected, keeping all major tourist destinations in mind. Having said that, I personally always find that renting a car gives one the best and most complete amount of control over time, especially on a short holiday. If you are dependent on the public transport, it turns into mostly running for trains, holding your breath for the perfect bus schedule, and at times not being able to turn the day around and do a complete 180-degree of the planned itinerary. We decided to rent a car from Zürich, which was perfect because we were able to drive at our own pace and schedule without having to worry about moving around with luggage and stopping at scenic spots along the way. Parking in Switzerland is extremely easy, which made this the perfect decision, and I would highly recommend the same for a shorter trip to the region. If you are planning to spend 4 days in Switzerland, it is recommended that you rent a car for the most fulfilling vacation experience. Switzerland has several lovely lakes, yet its majestic Alps may be its claim to fame. One of Switzerland's most beautiful lakes, Lake Iskinen, is situated in the Bernese Oberland close to Kandersteg. Rightfully so. Lake Iskinen is surrounded by the mountains of Blumlesalp and Doldernhorn and is known for its extremely pure turquoise water. It should not come as a surprise that Iskenensee has been recognized as a part of the Jungfrauelich Biotchorn UNESCO World Heritage Site since 2007. This is due to the idyllic environment itself. Reaching Lake Iskinen could require some work, but it will be well worth it. Your breath will be taken away when you first see the lake. Because Switzerland is a very small country, it is simple to fit in a number of must-see locations that are only a few hours apart on the itinerary. But for first-timers, a road journey across one of Europe's most stunning nations requires a stop in some of its most well-known and recognizable places. On the other hand, if you're planning a road trip, I suggest going between April and June or September and October. The days have a fair quantity of sunlight, the weather is mild, and there aren't many people around throughout those months. Summer days are lovely, but there will be a lot more people around to share the country's wonders with, and the heat may be uncomfortable in some places. An excellent place to begin your adventure is in Zurich. In Switzerland's largest city, there is always something to do. Being the nation's financial center, it's a magnificent blend of historic treasures and an ultramodern lifestyle. Driving from Zurich to Bern will take you past national parks and undulating hills. When you arrive in the nation's capital, you may stroll around Bern's lovely old town, which is encircled by the River Ahr. One of the city's most recognizable landmarks is the Zitglogge, a medieval astronomy tower that stands in the middle of the city. A leisurely stroll through the numerous historical sites and landmarks is a terrific way to see the comparatively tiny city. Go to the historic town of Gruyers by taking the A12. For the past 800 years, this town has maintained its historical buildings. Built between 1270 and 1282, the Gruyers Castle is the most noteworthy feature. Check the website to see whether any of the various events and performances that are held here are scheduled to take place while you are there. Don't forget to pick up some Gruyere cheese, which comes from this town, as a memento. Also plentiful and making for a very authentically Swiss bundle to bring home is Swiss chocolate. A layover in Zermatt is required whether skiing is on your bucket list or not. The town is one of the most well-liked tourist attractions in Switzerland since it is tucked away at the base of the famous Matterhorn. Since there are no cars allowed in Zermatt, all vehicles must be left at Tasch, the town you reach shortly before Zermatt. There are 2,100 parking spaces at the covered lot at the Matterhorn terminal in Tasch. From there, you need to take the 12-minute train ride to Zermatt. This brings you right into the center of town. The possibilities are limitless in Zermatt. You can take a train or cable car to the Matterhorn ski resort, or you can stay in the town and glance over at the towering Matterhorn. In this location, you can enjoy snowboarding, skiing, or hiking through the various nearby trails. You may fill your day in Zermatt in a variety of ways, so make your plans properly.